I mean, I think that each technology is a bit of a Faustian bargain. I mean, I think it just as it contributes to our lives, it also has the potential to distract us, to disconnect us. So there are a lot of problems with it. So I wouldn't reject all technology, but I would think we ought to maybe proceed with a little more kind of nuance and a little more thought about what really is of value. You know, technology is so connected with our capitalist, with the capitalist paradigm, that it's a little bit it's hard to separate the two. I think, and most of the driving force for new technology seems to be what will make money rather than what will add value to our lives.
Absolutely. And, you know, I walk through some of these big box stores, and it's just appalling to me how enormous they are and how filled they are with junk that's overpriced that we really don't need.
It can be a little. Well, it's good that you're still sensitive enough to respond that way. I mean, they're so desensitized, right? To that is kind of the norm. I mean, it's amazing always to go, from let's say a developing country in particular, and then come back and go to a store like that, or even one of these large grocery stores, and just see kind of the kind of bloated, over the top stores we have here. Yeah, with so much that we, like you said, that we don't need.
Absolutely.
Right? I think that one real solution, one real solution to the ecological crisis is to, on a psychic level, to kind of begin to live our lives as if we have enough, right?
Absolutely.
And if we can do that, we'll buy a lot less and destroy a lot less, right? We won't have to invade other countries to get their oil. We won't have to, kind of plunder the earth for more resources. And I think on a basic level, it starts, with recognizing that each of us is enough. And if we're told constantly by advertising and these kinds of things that we're insufficient, we want more stuff.
That's right. Absolutely. Just that one shift alone would change the entire face of the planet if we each just made the commitment to knowing that what we have is enough, and that we don't need anything new and we don't need anything more, better, or different. Because
absolutely. It's a huge shift, but it really is kind of the core of so many of our troubles.
I did ask a long time ago in the 70s, and Werner Erhard said that one of the things that stood out was that we play this game of getting more, and then when that runs out, we need to get something better, and then we get something different. Sometimes we play all three at the same time.
Yeah.
And we can see how, becoming a millionaire used to be kind of having a mansion and a fancy car. Now it's a billionaire, and we know that there are trillionaires that, pretty much control the world now. So when is it enough? When does it become destructive to own countries and people, and when do you start making decisions for huge groups of people that are not necessarily in their best interest? Well, I think that's happening right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it was Foucault who said that he hoped for a world in which no man had enough to buy another, and that no man had so little that he had to sell himself to another.
Absolutely. I think the greatest thing that we can have, and I don't think I've ever had it, is our freedom. Total freedom, with nobody controlling anyone else. And that perhaps that is a useful thought to consider as our next, jumping off point, that we've had enough of control systems, and let's try being free for once and working together and appreciating each other and seeing the divine in everything, like you said.
Absolutely, yeah. I think this question of freedom, freedom is such an abused word in our culture, isn't it? I mean, we talk about freedom, in such skewed ways so often in the popular discourse. It's become absurd. You know, but I think, you know, freedom ultimately has to do with having the capacity to really understand one's choices in the first place. You know?
Yes.
You know, so I think it's really to think about them and to really then, you know, have the capacity to experience the world and others in an authentic enough way to be able to make decisions then. You know, just sort of giving one the right to vote, or in the absence of any kind of authentic education or authentic, you know, relationship is not of a great deal of value.
Well, there's a lot of things that we could, you know, mention would be useful in terms of education. I know you do a lot with the city kids, and I mean, that's a wonderful place to make a difference with people. And in terms of education, it seems like it would be great if there was some kind of a wilderness, what do they call it, where you go out into the wilderness and you have a spiritual experience.
No, it's funny you mention that, because I'm actually, as soon as I get off the phone with you, I'm actually leaving and taking a group of 10 kids from here in the south side of Chicago up to Michigan for a weekend retreat.
Oh, wow.
For their rite of passage, annual rite of passage that we do with them.
Wow, that is fantastic. See, I just created and you're doing it.
There you go. You just thought of it and instantly.
Wow.
Doesn't always work
powerful.
that way. Yeah, that's what we're about to do, and we do. You know, the best part of it is that we do this star walk where we actually take them out at night and they get to see the stars. Hope for a clear night. And they get to actually, for the first time, sometimes the first time in a long time, get to see the stars at night, and it's really a profound experience. And we tell stories about that. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is say to them, look, you know, if you, no matter what you do with your life, you're responsible to tell your story. If you don't tell your story, someone else is going to.
Yes. Yep.
And we all have something to learn from other people. You know, I mean, I think that people at the margins of a society sometimes have a wisdom that those of us who have benefited from it don't have. You know, we really learn from that.
Absolutely. Well, that is wonderful to hear that you're doing that. And if people are interested in that kind of experience with you, how do they? Might as well find out how to get in touch with you right now.
Yeah. You can find me. You can find me on Facebook. You can also find me on my website, which is www.cosmosophia.org. That's COSMOSOPHIA.org. If you're interested also in some of the work we're doing here in Chicago, education-wise, my organization is called the Chicago Wisdom Project, and our website is chicagowisdomproject.org.
Wow. I so admire what you're doing, Theodore. It's absolutely vital that people take the initiative to do the things that you're doing to reintroduce us to the mystery of life. And I know I live out in the country, so I have a pretty good view of the stars on some nights when the chemtrails aren't there. And there are some nights when it looks like an inverted bowl, and it's just awesome. And I know that you can't see that in the cities. That's something we miss.
And that's been a fundamental part of every human being's experience on the planet since, you know, except for the last really just blink of an eye that we've lost that, you know?
Yes, and now we're living in virtual worlds, you know, where people kill each other and get points for the most bodies.
Well, the screen has replaced that, and so much of what you get on the screen, well, it's screen 2 dimensions. And, you know, I think that's a real that's a consciousness shift there. That's really profound, and it's a warping, I think.
Yes, I think you're right. I've never heard it said that way, but we're moving out of being 3-dimensional into 2-dimensional, which is kind of not the wrong direction. It seems that the universe itself is moving us towards more dimensions, a greater experience, a vaster experience of ourselves that's not limited to our senses, and that's what you seem to be talking about in your book, which is so important. Oh, one thing I wanted one thing I wanted to ask you about. You have a daughter that's 3, and I've talked to people on the phone that have mentioned that the incoming soul has had conversations with the mother before impregnation, and I always thought that was a fascinating thing. And a lot of the kids that are coming in are just brilliant. They're indigos and crystals, and I'm sure you're aware of all of that.
Right.
Did your wife have any of those experiences where she spoke with the spirit of your daughter? You know, like what name would you like to have? And sometimes it's just very basic stuff.
Nothing as explicit as that. But I think that you know, I certainly see in her just an incredible. You know, I know a little bit about the indigo child phenomenon, and enough to know that I think, you know, she probably exhibits a lot of those kinds of characteristics. I mean, I think that she really, I mean, she gives me hope that in spite of all the problems we have, that there's this, you know, real possibility with new, with the new generation. You know, you know, if we don't kind of crush their spirit before they get the chance. The other side of it is that we're doing a good job of kind of crushing our kids' spirits before they're able to actually change anything. So, you know, we have to kind of allow them that freedom of exploration that really is fundamental to what it means to be a human being.
Absolutely, and I was raised on television. I was born in 1950, but it wasn't quite so bad as the kids in the 60s and 70s where they're just plopped down in front of a television or a Game Boy all day because the parents don't have time to, you know, to really be with their children and to love them and to communicate. They talk down to the kids as if they're, you know, stupid. And I think you and I would both agree that the children are brilliant, and if you treat them as brilliant, they really shine. Yeah, absolutely.
Shine is the right word. Shine is the right word. So yeah, that's she you know, in a lot of ways she has revealed to me that I am a poet. I think it's something.
Well, and of course, looking into the eyes, the mirrors of the soul, that always is a way that we can communicate with one another. And I think a lot of people are letting some of their shadow side up because a lot of that is what keeps us from looking each other in the eye. And so a lot of people are doing shadow work and looking deeper within and acknowledging and telling themselves the truth, which is very important to evolving to the next level.
Yeah, that's well said.
So, well, we have about a minute left. Is there anything you'd like to share with us before we have to sign off?
You know, I'd just like to say, well, thank you to you. I really enjoyed the conversation. You know, I hope people will, if there's anything that I'd like to suggest that people do, is they just slow down for a moment and kind of walk outside. And I can remember my daughter, when she was very little, she would walk outside and she would stick her tongue out and taste the wind. So I suggest that everyone take some time to do something like that, to taste the wind and to really kind of experience the universe in a really kind of in a deeper and more connected way. Yeah, and get involved. You know, please feel free to contact me. Look into what the Chicago Wisdom Project is doing. We're really looking at we're working with partners in different cities, including Oakland out on the West Coast, and trying to revolutionize education.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Theodore, for sharing your wisdom and your thoughts with us today, and for writing such a wonderful book, COSMOSOPHIA. I just love what you're doing, and I thank you for being here in the world to make a difference.
Thanks to you, Lance.
Okay. All right. Well, take care, and thanks again for being here.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.